We're just going in. What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's here now. My shit's so slow tonight. I didn't make the 60-second mark either. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Angery Nation podcast. Tonight we got just a group of dudes. Of course, we've got the illustrious and beautiful Emery in house, Mr. Donnie Dunn right below him, checking in, and the one and only the man himself, Rossen, in the house tonight. What is up, my friend? He's going to do sign language.
Rossen's giving us the silent treatment.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I need to save my energy in order to hear my exotic accent.
To hear my exotic accent,
like very nice. I'm
very
doing
nice.
very nice.
Your Borat's hard to beat. I'm gonna give you that one. That's that you got that Eastern European down for some reason. I don't know if you got it. You nailed it. Why? Am I already froze up?
We've been working on that for years.
I know you guys have. Oh, me and Alan have too. So yeah, we all work on it. We all. Donnie's got one. We've all got like a Borat. So what have you guys been up to? What have you been doing, Emery?
Man, I've been doing some security and trying to keep busy after my deployment. It's like you gotta scrounge for jobs, and I'm pretty lucky because they seem to be coming right now. So I'll be going to do some military training starting this weekend, and the calendar's filling up pretty good.
Nice, that's good.
So,
that's good.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from Donnie, because Donnie, I have not seen or spoken to you.
Just go in there.
Feels like a decade.
Well, it was a long, strange journey. So, I had that surgery in March and was basically paralyzed for a couple months, and then pulled myself out of it, and then traveled the whole country and ended up in Georgia. I'm in Canton. We're right by Canton, which is probably an hour north of Atlanta. It's in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and got a house that just me and my dog chilling, man. So we'll catch up later.
Nothing better than me and my dog, huh?
Me and my dog. I'm perfectly fine with that. So, and a cute redhead.
But, alive, brother. We missed you.
That's called the male meditation state.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I just came up with that right now.
I learned it from Alan Kay. I know not the no, I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm half the man I used to be, literally. So,
to Donnie,
we're at 32-inch waist. Yeah.
Cheers.
Well, like you ever watch Landman? They're like, I thought you quit drinking. He's like, I did, and drank Mick Ultra. It's not really drinking. It's like, I don't even know how many you could drink of these to get a buzz. It'd be a lot. So more than my bladder work. But I missed everybody desperately. Especially you, Emery. I need a big old hug and a nibble on my ear.
Oh, you stop that. I'll give you 5 minutes to cut that out.
I'm so thirsty. But now it's Donnie, good, man. So we're getting ready to get an ice storm here. Ice apocalypse. So they're worse than the hurricane people. Like, I went to Walmart to get, because I don't have shit here. I came up here with stereos, clothes, and guns. So I don't have generator, heater. I'm like, I got 2 metric tons of food at Chris's and shit everywhere, but I got nothing here. So hopefully I don't lose power. If I do, I'm borrowing a generator and a little space heater, but I got layers of clothes and my dog to keep me warm. So it's all good.
Maybe we can send you a few hamsters in the mail so they can run on the little wheel and make you power.
Hamsters? Now you're talking.
That's organic perpetuum mobile.
You have the ones with no claws and the really long tails that can hold their breath a long time. Those are my favorites.
All right,
no, I got a redhead to get me through, so I'm good.
Nice. Hey,
Sweet.
I got a request.
Life's looking up. It was a rough year last year, so everybody needs a better year this year.
Fuck yeah. Rough. Yes, last year sucked.
I got a request. I'd like to start this year with maybe filling one of Rossen's classes coming up in Florida. So Rossen or Chris, you guys know the info. If you wouldn't mind pitching that, that'd be awesome.
Send it, Rossen. That's the whole reason we got it here tonight, because that class, Handgun Mastery at New Smyrna, is coming up.
How many spots do you have to fill to get a free slot for yourself?
I think Rossen's already got a free spot.
Handgun Mastery.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. So that's the Volusia County.
Is an awesome beach over there near Smyrna Beach. Really good vibe, and it's a 3-day class, and it's all the core principles of marksmanship, efficient marksmanship with a firearm, with a hand, basically. So everyone can shoot accurately if you understand how to align the and to break the trigger without disturbing those sights alignment, or everyone can pull the trigger as quickly as you can. But combining both, it's kind of a problem, right? And that's the main focus on that class. We'll teach you all the principles behind how to achieve accuracy under speed. We call it the combat speed, because that's what will happen intuitively when you're in kind of a close quarter engagement, or if you get in a self-defense situation. So we will have an absolutely clear understanding how to control the gun. If you throw a bad shot, what happened, how to fix it on a move without any hesitation. Basically, we'll have no secrets how to shoot fast and accurate to the very scientific level. Actually, I'm coming up from the range right now. I have a buddy of mine, a close friend of mine, who is a PhD in sports science. So we are working about all the biomechanics, how the neurosystem reacts and all that stuff to improve everything. Including today, actually, we come up with a aha moment, with a huge discovery that will be very, very applicable in a real defense situation, how to get out of the X, or in a very, very quick way. Yes.
Nice. And it's New Smyrna class.
Excuse me? You're cutting off a little bit.
Yeah, I said, you're going to show that in New Smyrna at the next class?
Of course. At least I'll show you a little bit. No, but it's great. It means we came up with the conclusion you will spend like 4 times less energy. That means that you don't need to be athletic to achieve that. Is basically you managing your momentum to do it. Actually, the momentum do that for you, the momentum of your body, which is really cool.
Okay. Yeah. Body already in motion is easier to keep in motion. So redirect momentum. Yeah, I like it. Where are you at now, Rossen? What are you up to?
I'm in St. George, in a beautiful sunny St. George, southern Utah, for now. But we are flying to. Finally, I can see Angery. So that's the first person that I see from you guys. For some reason, the app I didn't see nobody. But anyway, next Monday, actually, you're flying to Florida, and I will shoot one of the biggest international matches in Florida. I'm a kind of competitive shooter, right? So
a little bit.
there's a huge match, 3-day match, 30 stages. That means 30 different scenarios that you need to run and gun and to have fun, and occasionally to hit the targets.
And occasionally to hit the targets.
But one of the best competitive shooters will be there, and we'll have a lot of fun. And we're working to implement all these discoveries right now quick enough so we can use it in the match and double check it in a practical manner.
Nice. Heck yeah.
And
So
the
is that,
next week
Donnie,
after
you
that,
see-
we have the class. Next week we'll have the class on that same range. On that same range.
Yep. Right back to Volusia County.
Yes.
That's where we had it last time.
Yeah.
You guys need to come out. If you're in Florida and you're not stuck in snowpocalypse or ice storm hell or whatever everybody else is gonna be living through, you're gonna be down in sunny Florida. Come out to the range. Class. Like
I used to go up there when I was a kid. It's a great little town. It's cool.
Yeah, St. George is
Better than
pretty
Daytona.
sunny and it's pretty quiet in general. And we have a good places to shoot at here as well.
That's nice.
So for the guys that wants to get really deep into the science, that's one of the classes that will open the door for you in general. We don't want to sound arrogant, but the class it's really deep. So it goes all kind of deep beyond the biomechanics again, as we said, even the mental state, what's happening mentally, what's happening with your body, and how to optimize everything and to be more efficient with that particular class with the handgun to another level. And actually, even Imre will tell you that it's working.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've been through that class a bunch. I've taught that class a bunch, with you. I've assistant instructed it quite a few times now. And it is amazing. And every time you can take that class over and over, every time you will leave with a bunch of new skills, because you just can't, in a 3-day period, retain and then get enough reps on any skill, right? This isn't anything, not just handguns, but of course handguns. I always say in my classes that the handgun is the dumbest weapon ever devised by man, and I love pistols, right? But the reason I say that is because it's really nothing about a handgun is truly ergonomic or natural, right? And so all of it has to be learned and then applied, until it's committed into your subconscious. And this class makes you aware of every little thing that you're doing right and wrong, and get the right feelings and understand the information behind exactly how to execute it all. So it's really tremendous. I highly recommend it for everybody. And if I wasn't working, I'd come down and actually take the class. Yeah.
Anytime, brother, you know that we are ready to play.
That's right. Actually,
all the
Rossen,
time.
on a slightly different topic, I want to kind of share this with the public. Rossen and I had a conversation this morning. We speak a lot. And I don't know why you speak to me, but that's the one bad side of your personality, I guess. But so Ross and I have been discussing.
You know why? Because I like to put myself intentionally into trouble and headache.
Pillow talk is nice.
So we actually have a lot of new content that the two of us are going to be putting out in the next year or two. And a lot of it actually has to do with night vision and rifles and all that stuff. And Rossen and I for years have been kind of doing this with the two worlds, which it seems like a lot of people have tried in the past, including two people that Rossen and I both studied under independent of each other, that have tried crossing over between like the tactical and the competition world. There is so much to learn from each other, and getting different perspectives and all that. It's so critically awesome. And then ego always gets in the way of all the other examples we've seen of it. And so we're trying to kind of get past that. And I think we have a pretty good record, Rossen, of teaching together for what, 7-8 years now.
Absolutely. And every single time it's a blast, right? Because I truly believe at the moment that you're learning something, and when you're teaching the class, we know that we are learning. Even as an instructors, we are learning. You need to leave your ego behind, because at that point you need to be open-minded. If you're not open-minded, you cannot discover new stuff, and you stick with whatever you know in your small little kind of a box, right, pattern, and you're never willing to experiment some new stuff that can, like today, and I'm doing that for over 20 years, and today I have an aha moment, like literally general aha moment. You say, I know everything, right? Nope, nope. Always try new stuff, because you can be surprised. Like human being in general, we can be surprised to discover how much we don't know, and how much we don't know how much we don't know.
Yep.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get into a skill, there's always that point towards the beginning where you realize that you don't know, right? And it takes a little bit of learning to get to the point where you realize you don't know. I hope I'm not saying anything new to anybody, right? But then once you have that aha, oh my God, I have no idea how much I didn't know. Then the learning starts, and it's an incredible way from there.
Yeah.
It's humbling.
You go from the first step is the most painful one. Let's put it that way. To go from unconscious incompetence, you don't know how much you don't know, to, let's say, the next level, which is sounds again pretty bad, but it's way bigger step forward through this to discovery. It's when you reach to the point of conscious incompetence, understanding, oh, there's so much that I don't have a clue about. At that point, you start searching, and every road starts with every discovery starts with the first step. Start searching stuff. So
Yeah, awesome.
never-ending story,
Rob,
which make it so fun, right?
something I never asked you. When you started shooting pistols in the beginning,
Yeah, for some reason,
Are you still with us there, Rossen? Emery, can you hear us? Can anybody hear us out there?
hello?
Rossen, can you hear me? Emery, can you hear me?
are we back on? Because I think the storm is doing a number on us.
It's doing a number on everybody. Mel can see me. Patrick can see me. Rossen, we just dropped off. Chris his internet is fucked, as he so eloquently put it.
I keep getting cooked off, but I guess in the meantime, you guys have to listen to me yap.
Yeah, I know. We'll just hopefully Rossen will be back on here shortly. He was bringing up some really interesting information. I took the class last year, and it was definitely a game changer. I'd spent years in the military as an instructor, but I learned so much from that class.
Yep.
And let's see if we can get Rossen back on.
What I would suggest to people when you take that class is, if you can get through that first day, right, then it really opens your world up. The first day, it's a ton of information. It's not a huge amount of shooting the first day, but if you can get yourself through that and really integrate that information, right, really kind of digest it through that night after the first day, day 2 and 3, you will not believe how you shoot.
Oh, absolutely. Can you hear us, Rossen?
Yes, I'm back. I needed to relink again, get out of it, and reconnect again for some reason. Internet, I don't know, or just booking the system. But right now I can see and I can hear you clearly. Yeah, it's interesting that even the first day, most of the time, most likely you not even shoot a target.
I was getting ready to say that. We spent almost all day the first day shooting into the dirt, but coming back the next day, it made such a difference.
especially once we started going to the target, and it made such a difference.
And I want to explain a little bit just why we're doing something. We're big about, everything that we do, in general, it's with purpose, right? It needs to be with purpose. And the reason that we are shooting into the dirt is when you're learning a new skill in general, or you need to fine tune something, we always do that with our conscious mind. So our conscious mind, that's our intellect, our logic. The problem with the conscious mind is that it can focus on only one thing at a time. So do you need to actually pay attention on the side picture or do you want to pay attention how to pull the trigger on to hit the target, or you want to pay attention how the handgun, how the gun is behaving, right? And for day one, it's way more important to focus on the behavior of the gun in order to limit the muzzle flip and to manage the recoil. At the moment that you learn that, everything else, it's quite easy, right? Again, conscious mind can focus in one thing. Give them one thing to focus on, and that's the behavior of the gun without any kind of external disturbance like sight picture, like you pay attention on the trigger pull, or did I hit the target, etc., etc. Just focus how that gun is behaving. At the moment that you make that gun quiet, you just conforming with your vision. Vision is a secondary control mechanism anyway. You're aiming with your shooting platform and with your grip. It means it can sound a little bit abstract, but once you do that, actually you see and you realize practically how well it's working on day two.
Absolutely. And folks, if you haven't signed up already yet, I'm going to pop this QR code up real quick, let you guys go to it. Go to TP's Tactical Performance Center is it .org or .com?
.com.
.com, tacticalperformancecenter.com. You can also sign up there. I don't want to cover up Rossen too terribly much here. There we go. Use Angery code Angery American 20. You'll save 20% on the thing, guys. Chris and Miller plan on being there, and I believe Teresa's going as well.
Guys, I'd sign up quick because A, there's a discount. B, hopefully that thing fills up real quick. And C, here's my bone to pick with Rossen for years is Rossen has not learned to charge enough for his classes. So I sign up quick while they're affordable because I'm trying to get him to raise his prices so that he makes a little bit of money too and covers his travel.
Yeah, that's because I'm dumb enough to think that shooting and sharing knowledge is way more important than to earn money.
Yep. We both have a terrible disease there, huh?
But you know what? It's fun.
It's super fun.
It is honestly one of the best handgun classes I have ever taken. Rosin, I use that all throughout the summer. Whenever Pete Robertucci and I were shooting and went out shooting up in Wisconsin, we would go back and go through those drills, and that's the way we'd practice when we were shooting up there. And I've got a stack full of targets that we're going to be right back here on the range, probably maybe tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be nice down here, so get Teresa a little warmed up before she comes.
Nice.
Yeah, because that class develop your awareness, what you need to focus on, and you get familiarized with the entire process, what you should do. At the moment that you focus on what you should do, actually there's no difficult shot. There is no difficult shot. Your brain can make something a difficult shot based on your perception. If you know the process and if you know what you need to focus on, it's all about execution. Simply execute. At the moment that you let emotions in and you start focusing on the result, or that's create emotion. Emotion will manifest to physical tension, And physical tension is the worst enemy of precision and accuracy. So that's the very much mental aspect of shooting, because at the moment that you understand and kind of perfect the core skills, you'll start realizing, regardless what kind of shooting it is, regardless if you're shooting a handgun or you're shooting a rifle or even a shotgun, doesn't matter. Shooting, it's 95% mental. Same thing with fighting, right, Imri? It's everything. It's starting right here. And efficiency, it's coming from how well you execute, how quickly we take the decision, if it's a right decision or not. It's that's the other point. But how well you can execute the decision that you already taken. That's it. Without attaching emotion on it. That will create efficiency. That will create efficiency. That's the philosophy in everything to do in an efficient manner in general.
Yeah, and right. That's true for anything, right? You think about, speaking to the audience here, right? Whatever it is that you do for work, let's say, whether it's, running a CNC shop or anything else, or running a store, right? If you can make your process efficient, A, you make more money, B, your life becomes easier, right? And in the case of shooting, typically it means that if you make a mistake right now and I have to think about what to do to correct, my next shot because I missed or whatever, that's probably the last shot I will ever have taken. And so, so committing things to your subconscious is supremely important, and the process never stops. And that's the beautiful thing. By the way, if any of you guys want a really cool vacation, and you want to come take these classes in really cool places, because you get off on that kind of thing, Rossen and I will be teaching a bunch of different classes in Eastern Europe the whole month of June. So dates, locations are TBD, but keep up with tacticalperformancecenter.com and they will be on there shortly.
Well, let us know we'll put them out.
We'll have some classes in Czech Republic, some classes in Bulgaria, probably some other countries around. That will be fun. We can have a class in Greece as well. So you can combine, your summer vacation, because Greece is awesome, with something more tactical.
Well, now I got a question for you, Rossen, and correct me if I'm wrong. You also teach not just handgun, you also teach rifle mastery as well. And we talked a lot about this, in the breaks and stuff when we were at your class last year. The stuff goes hand in hand. What you learn in handgun translates very well into rifle. So this is a very good base that will help you in all of your shooting.
Yes, because the principles that we teach, they're core principles, and principle is a principle because it could be applied in multi-layers, in multiple directions, right? The principles in handgun are absolutely the same. They're completely applicable in a rifle or in any other firearm. It's because they're core principles, and that proves that they're actual principles. Otherwise, there will be a techniques. Everything that it's more unique and specific, it's defined as a technique. If it's a principle, that means it can bleed to the other weapon systems, which is really, really fun when you discover. Because guess what? At the moment that you understand the principle in its core, you can start playing with it, and you can create a different type of technique, a technique that can adapt to your personal qualities, physical and mental, and you becoming the author of your own style. You're building your own style based on efficiency, right?
Okay. That's pretty awesome.
Guys, if this sounds like gibberish after the class, I guarantee you're going to be talking the same.
Especially with an exotic accent, right? Even more gibberish.
Look, really what I'm talking about, I was there too, right? Because you and I, Rossen, God, when did we meet? This must have been 20. 15-ish. 15.
About there, I think. About there. I'm terrible with dates, by the way.
Me too, but it's been at least 10 years that we've been good friends and working together and all that. We actually met through some mutual, very close friends that both of us used to contract with. And at first I was like, oh man, that sounds great. Yeah, that sounds great. And then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I don't really know. Everything sounded good when we talked about it on the phone. And then I'm trying to think of how to implement stuff. And I had no idea until we started working together. And I was like, mind blown, So.
Yeah. And again, the best way to understand something is to hear about it, to see how that have been done, and then to do it by yourself with a little bit of a kinesthetic input, right? Hands-on. And you have the holistic image on that particular, let's say, skill, right? So it will be explained, it will be demonstrated, and then you will do it with some input from the instructor.
You know what pisses me off? I shoot better when you're standing there, right? And then you walk away and I go back to sucking. So
you know why? I will tell you exactly why that's happening in general. Because we all, we in general, we want to do better, right? We all eager to prove ourselves and to progress. But there's a little catch over there. And the catch is when you want to do better, you focus on the results. At the moment that you focus on the result is in the future. You're not in the present. You're not in the moment. You need to focus on the process. What exactly you need to do. So it's a complete awareness. What you need to do. Because the result, a very accurate shot, very fast, it's a consequence of the well-executed process. So you don't even need to think about the result. It will happen by itself if you stay focused on the process. So when I'm close to you, I'm giving you a hint where you need to keep your attention to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
This is all
absolutely. I will having witnessed it, Emery is a phenomenal pistol shot.
Not at all. Thank you.
But Rossen, that has how fast he can and accurately hit a target is just mind blowing. It really is.
Rossen, let's give everybody a free tip right now. A free tip. This is something that I really learned from Rossen, right? And this is a free tip that just right now from listening to it, you will be able to be a better shooter, whatever platform. And it's probably true for a lot more than just shooting, right? Here's the tip I'd like to share with everybody today. It's minimal effort, right? And this is something that I've always struggled with my whole life. I was taught everything I do is right, aggression and just out muscle everybody and out hate everybody. But if you want to be really good, you think about this. If you can do whatever motion you have to do with minimal effort, it will make you stronger and more accurate. And when I say accurate, I don't just mean the shot. I mean like touching your gun in the right place with the right part of your hand and whatever else. Try using minimal effort. You think about it. It's going to sound weird the first few times you try to figure out what that means. Minimal effort. What do you say, Rossen?
Yeah, absolutely. A good result, it's coming from properly applied technique. And if you apply a technique in a proper manner, actually you're using less muscular effort, and you can generate the same amount of force in general with less effort. You can apply the same amount of force with less effort, and that can translate, to martial arts when you're talking about hand-to-hand martial arts, like in boxing, the same thing. When you throw a jab or a cross, right? Because the cross is kind of the strongest punch in general. If you do it in a proper way, you don't feel that you're not using effort. You're using entire body, to apply the proper technique, and the force generated at the very end of that strike, it's way greater that if you try to kind of do it with an effort and you try to push. It's exactly the same with shooting, by the way. Uh, at the moment that you achieve, the gun behavior to just everything should happen by itself. It's a very repeatable process, and if you do it from a technical perspective, I'm talking about, the gun's supposed to recover like let's say like a sewing machine, right? Every single time it's exactly the same thing without a surprise. The gun settles back to alignment without you giving some input to the gun. You're creating such a biomechanical platform, you're actually gripping in such a way so the gun will recover by itself every single time, every single shot. And that will actually lead to a fast shots, very fast shots, a string of fast shots with amazing accuracy, because there's no surprises, right? That's when you train that in a very isolated environment. But the moment that that becomes as a habit for you, right, you are able to apply the same speed and accuracy in a way more complex and complicated situations, and you're able to apply that even in a gunfight without thinking about it, right? That's what a lot of instructors actually claim as a muscle memory. You're developing a muscle memory. In fact, actually, you're creating a neural pathways in your brain and through your neural system. So the neural system, it's managing your muscles and tendons that will create the action, right? And with repetitions, that neural pathways actually myelinated. That means they're isolated better, and you're able to perform that particular action or skill without even thinking about it. You need to achieve that in order to be efficient in a gunfight, because you cannot have a luxury in a gunfight to think about many things, right? You don't have luxury to think about how to isolate your trigger finger and how to pull the trigger with a constant speed when a lot of projectiles or a lot of lead is flying towards you. Yeah? That's a lot of stress. And if you didn't have that skill deeply ingrained in your subconscious mind before, on the range in a very isolated environment, guess what? Everything will take apart. You'll miss, you'll start punching the gun, and at the moment that you miss in your response, there are increased chances that you will be hit in a gunfight. Does that make sense?
And you'll start missing more, right? Anybody
Of
here
course.
who shoots, you know that feeling of taking a shot, missing, and after you miss a couple times, you get frustrated, and from there you never hit.
Yep.
Right? That's where you stop hitting altogether.
Yes, because you get even more anchored towards the result, and you start paying less attention to the process.
And I have to say, look, here's a thing that's kind of disturbing. It's a shitty thing to have to deal with, but it's true. Is that here in America we have the Second Amendment, right? And so we all have the right to be armed, and we have, I believe, the responsibility to all be trained as well as possible. The shitty thing is, as a civilian here, the stakes are not the stakes, but you have to be a much more accomplished shooter to not fuck your life up in a self-defense engagement here in the States as a civilian or a law enforcement officer versus being in the military, where everybody thinks you have to have a much higher level of skill. You don't have to. It's that this is your job, and you have the time and the capability, right? You have everything you need to improve to a certain level. But in the military, if you miss a couple of shots, they're going into a wall, they're going into some street, you're in combat anyway, right? For the most part, I'm not talking about hostage rescue and that kind of thing. But as a civilian, as a father going to the grocery store with your kids, if you miss and that bullet goes and hits another civilian, that is absolutely unacceptable, right? So we here as civilians have to hold ourselves to a much higher standard than your average soldier would, right? So think about that, right? That's why this is so important. It is so critically important that you become incredibly efficient with the hardest weapon, hardest firearm there is to learn how to use, right? Pistol is harder than shotgun, rifle, all that stuff. You have two hands
Is the
come together,
hardest firearm to master, by the way.
and that's what's legal to carry in the streets, right? So,
Mhm.
you know, this is why certainly when you're talking about, you know, myself and Carl and, you know, we all do a lot of military and law enforcement training, but this is why we put so much effort and we are so focused on civilian training, is because in our eyes it's really that much more important to give the best tools we can to any person wanting to you know, defend our Second Amendment rights here. Not defend, but use our Second Amendment rights, which I urge you all to, as long as you're capable and get enough training. So it's kind of a crazy position we're in as civilians here in the States. Our responsibility is to be super good, and anybody that says I'm good enough, you're wrong, right? Every day when I put my gun up in the morning and I go out to hit the street, you know, my thought is, man, I hope I'm well enough trained. I hope I'm sharp enough to deserve this right to carry my gun, right?
Yes, and
Oh, we just lost Rossen.
as a
And we just lost
you know,
there he
in a
is.
self-defense situation, there are few interesting challenges, as you said, to avoid a collateral damage. Right, that's a first thing. You need to be accurate, but also most of the times you should be. Most of the time you're reactive. That means somebody already decide to take an action. Right, the bad guy, the adversary. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you, Rosin.
Well,
He's
Ross is
pushing.
fixing his
He's
computer.
pushing buttons,
He's pushing my buttons. No, Chris was saying
and he's gone again.
is not a right at all. And Chris is absolutely correct. Problem being, we see so many people that have that attitude of, yeah, well, it's my right, but they don't go out and become proficient, right?
Agreed.
And, you know, to me, you know, I've been living a military life for a major portion of my life, and, you know, in and around the military, you know, and anybody that says I'm awesome, I'm really good, blah, 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 that's not somebody I want on my team. I don't want them on my team on a professional level, right? I need
agree.
you to know what you're not good at first and where you need to improve, and that's the only way to improve. So, Rossen, we got you back. All right.
You see,
Guys,
I'm back.
This storm's really doing a number on our internets.
It really is.
Yeah, something happened there. Yeah, definitely. But I'm back anyway.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that yeah, as you know, as a civilians in a self-defense situations, actually we meet several challenges. As you said, the first thing, you cannot afford to throw few shots kind of into and miss, right? Because potential collateral. Second, most of the time in a self-defense situation, you are reactive. That means you're responding to some action. Bad guys decided first, so you're already in the OODA loop, right? And now you have two options: or to come up with some kind of a creative way to reset the adversary's OODA loop, or to dominate by speed, and at the same time to be accurate, right? Does that make sense? So that's
100%.
and most in the military, when you go to a specific mission, most of the time you're operating in a active mode. That means you're acting first, especially if you're operating in surprise, right? Instead of to be reactive, to respond on some particular action first. Most of the time, of course, there are complicated situations in the mission that you need to get into reactive mode, but in general, you have a mission plan in objectives, and if you accomplish them correctly and the mission went smooth, you're in an active mode. Does that make sense, guys?
100%. I got to tell you, the job that and I apologize, guys, I can't go into too many details on this, but the job I have right now in the military, all the last deployments I've been doing during this war, is by definition reactive if fire starts happening, right? So our job is to be hush hush and get places and never be seen, and we're bringing big vehicles through and stuff like that it's pretty hard to not see. And so you get hit by an IED, you get hit by an ambush, it's oftentimes almost impossible for you to see said ambush if the enemy has half a brain, right? And it's always reactive, and that's what makes the job so difficult. A lot of planning ahead and all that, and a lot of training for reaction. And let me tell you, reaction is so much harder than being the guy with the initiative.
Exactly. Operating in that reactive mode is probably 3 times more challenging than to operate in an active mode.
And knowing that is a lot more stressful, which also makes your job more difficult. Right?
And that's one of the things that we talk about with Troy's Gate. It puts you into those situations where your brain starts learning those reactionary skills that you need to have to maybe give you an extra second of, I've been here before, I can react a little quicker. And again, it's training, guys. Training.
It must be almost automated response, right? It means, and here you have even a greater challenge. Are you going to take the proper decision, what actions to take, right? That's the huge part of the equation.
Yeah, so what Troy's Gate really does, right, is it tests your mechanical skills that you learned on the range, and it tests them by making you use them when you don't have time to think about what to do, right? That's one. It also tests your decision-making skills, and if you have a set of balls or not, and it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl in this context. I think you understand what I mean, hopefully. But it helps to connect a little bit of reality to your training. But really, what I think the best takeaway from it is you sit there and you go, okay, well, did I make the right decisions? Did I freeze? Because a lot of people freeze. A lot of people are so frightened by it that they will take out their gun and shoot before they should have, as just one example, right? So do I freeze, or do I start making really bad, hasty decisions? And the whole idea of what Rossen was describing before, right, with myelination of a skill, or making a skill subconsciously correct, is just that. It's enabling. Look, the way I explain it often is you have 8 gigs of RAM in your P brain, right? My P brain. I'll do that so nobody gets insulted, right? So I have 8, maybe 5 gigs of RAM in my P brain right here, right? If all 5 gigs are taken up by which muscles are working, where am I applying pressure, how's my grip, what am I seeing, blah, 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 then you have no gigs of RAM left to process the situation, right? And conversely, what normally happens is you will be taking up those 5 gigs of RAM, processing and making the decision on the situation. And then if your skills are not at a subconscious level, then they degrade down much worse than you would ever expect. And so
big time, because you're still operating with your conscious mind, as we said before. Conscious mind can focus in one thing at a time. At the moment that the focus is on to take on a proper decision, then your shooting skills will degrade. If you focus and concentrate on how to shoot accurately and respond accurately with your firearm at that situation, your situational awareness and tactical decision ability, they degrade because focus shifts from one to another. The idea is to make one subconscious, so we'll have more gigs for processing the other.
Yeah. Okay, Ross, and I got a question. Apocalypse just hit. zombie apocalypse, or non-zombie apocalypse, a normal apocalypse. You get one weapon. What do you bring? Be specific.
I will bring. I like kind of a short rifles in general, shorter rifles, but still reasonable. I like a 12.2, 13 inches.
AR.
Because it gives you still it's maneuverable, so you can use it kind of in a tight spaces to a degree, but also it gives you accuracy for a longer shots if it's necessary.
Yep.
But it's a remote control, and I prefer remote control. That's me. Now Emery, it's great with edged weapons, and he loves it.
I hate that, brother, but you know what? Apocalypse hits. I'm bringing an AR.
I don't want to touch a zombie. I want to remotely deal with it.
By the way, ammo didn't matter. Favorite caliber on the planet, AR with a 6.8 SPC. For those of you guys who remember that round, good friend of ours, Steve Holland, actually in Holland, invented that round. The most brilliant round ever. Of course, you would never find more ammo for it, so we'd have to bring a 5.56.
That's how it is. But by the way, something that I wanted to add about the challenges, when you constantly asking our question, are we prepared enough? For, let's say, some conflict that involves firearms. The problem is that shooting in general, it's a very perishable skill. It's very perishable. And I want to point kind of a gradient. The first thing that will kind of degrade quickly, that's the speed of your eyes. How you can, move your eyes in order to present the gun really quickly, and what exactly you will see. And somebody will say, yeah, in a very close range, anyway, you're not using sights and all that stuff. But it's not only using sights, it's also ability to recognize the threat, right? Recognize the situation, take the action, and do what you need to do in general. So it's general orientation. In general, it's a huge thing, and awareness, right? And sometimes when you need to take a longer shot, you need to see your sights. That's inevitable.
Rossen, let me pause you a second, because this is something that years ago was a big argument, and I think we can lay that argument to rest. Of you never look at your sights in a real situation. I'm going to call complete bullshit on that, and people who are ill-trained don't look at their sights. And I have noticed, even very recently, that when my gun comes up for me to pull the trigger on a two-legged animal, I am very conscious of my sights, very conscious. And it doesn't cost me a lot of time because of myelinating a skill, right?
Exactly.
And I'm nowhere near as good of a pistol shooter as Rossen, probably a rifle shooter either. I'm not as snappy. I don't train as much or as well, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I will tell you that every time I have had to take that shot, I have been incredibly aware of my sights. So I think it's kind of a cop-out. That gets into another effect, physiological effect, which is called tachypsychia, which is in layman's term, in English, that's the altered perception of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get scared, you get adrenaline activated, your perception of time becomes either, oh my God, it happened so quickly, it was a blur, or it becomes everything goes into slow motion and like the Matrix, and I do what I have to do with full consciousness. And that's just a function of training, right? That's not like, well, I suck, I just, everything gets to be a blur for me. No, that just means you haven't trained enough, and you haven't trained under conditions of elevated adrenal stimulation, right? When your adrenaline's pumping. And
you are able at that point to respond in a proper way, and that you can achieve only by training. Otherwise, you cannot reach that level. You need to train it. We need to train it. And just to finish, the gradient in that concept of very, very perishable skill. The first thing will be the vision. The second thing that you will lose really quickly if you don't train in a regular basis with the firearm, that's the magnitude of force that you're applying on your trigger pull. And oh boy, that can screw your accuracy big time.
Mm-hmm.
The third thing that is very important and requires a constant tuning and training, that's grip pressure. And regardless, grip pressure on the rifle or grip pressure on a handgun. With a handgun is way more important because you have one point of contact and that's everything. But that doesn't mean to underestimate the importance of grip pressure on the rifle as well.
Well,
Absolutely.
say with rifle, if your grip pressure is incorrect with a rifle, your follow-up shots necessarily will not be in the right place.
Exactly.
A bigger group.
Exactly.
If you're right-handed and your grip pressure is wrong, you're probably going to have your muzzle go up and to the right. If you're left-handed, probably the other way around. And that's something I've noticed very much. Grip pressure is a huge thing. Huge.
It is. So that's the 3 points that they degrade really quickly if you don't train, regardless how competent you are with the firearm. It's exactly like even the world champions in boxing, if they stop sparring for a little bit for a few months, they start to blink when there's a punch thrown at them because it's a very, very basic instinct, right? Triggered by our lizard brain. So it's very survival instinct. And shooting, it's you need to overcome those basic instincts because it's literally like you're holding a firecracker in your hands, more or less, right? And you should not react on it, which is against our basic instinct. So you need to acclimate to that.
Absolutely. And, that's one thing. I'll go back to last year. That's one thing that I really liked about the way you broke down stance, grip, trigger manipulation before we even got to sight alignment. Before we even talked, we didn't talk about sight alignment until I think day 2, and you're concentrating on, the importance of stance and the importance of the trigger manipulation and the grip, and just a little change in the grip, a little bit of pressure on a pinky can change your grip significantly for the better or for the worse if you do it wrong. And I really enjoyed the way you broke that stuff down.
Yeah, because I keep claiming that we're aiming basically with our shooting platform, or let's say our stance and grip, and the eyes will simply verify if you're doing everything correctly. If I want to be technically absolutely exact, it's not actually the stance. A lot of people, when you're going really in detail about the shooting stance, they will say, "Oh, but in the real situations, you don't have time to take that perfect stance," and it doesn't mean that you need to take it, but actually you're using a perfect shooting stance to build a proper shooting platform. Shooting platform and shooting stance are two different things. So basically, a shooting platform is part of the stance, but not in its entirety. So the shooting platform is basically your torso connected, your pelvis connected to the torso, connected to the arms that form the isosceles. If you're using isosceles stance, connected through the grip to the gun. So all these 3 elements, arms, torso, and pelvis, you need to preserve them as much as possible and as much as the situation can allow you to do that in a perfect, in a same configuration. That's why a lot of instructors are saying, oh, you need to be as a turret of a tank, right? That means that shooting platform needs to be very constant. Why? Because you want the forces that are acting upon the gun, regardless is a handgun or a rifle, they needs to be consistent. At the moment that you apply the proper consistent forces on the gun will behave in a very predictable manner, in a very consistent way, right? At the moment that you're constantly changing the forces upon a gun, or you're changing your force input, the gun, every single time, the gun will surprise you. And you're not able to be accurate under speed at that point, because every single time you need to micro adjust. Guess what? In a real gunfight, you don't have time to micro adjust much, right? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
100%. I'm just
It means
thinking.
it's especially in a really close range. It means in a really close range. Let's say you have a guy that is running with machete or whatever, and it's kind of seven yards away, and it's closing really fast in a full sprint. You want to pump him you need to give him as much lead love as you can, right? You need to give him as much lead as you can in order to create a stopping effect. And at that point, and at that level of stress in your body, you need to rely on that proper biomechanics that are already subconsciously reloaded in your operational system, right? In your brain. You're creating that muscle memory, basically, in order to
So
be
what?
efficient.
So what is it Carl says? You know, anybody that needs that deserves love
One
deserves
worth
one
shooting
more.
once, shooting twice. That's our
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
worth shooting
Yeah.
twice.
Well, Rosin, man, I appreciate you being on. I will extend apologies from Chris and his McDonald's Wi-Fi that he was having to deal with tonight. I know he really wanted to be here to talk to you, but you're going to be down in his neck of the woods, and you're going to be down here for a couple of weeks. It sounds. And wanted to verify that that shoot, the international shoots at New Smyrna the weekend prior to your class.
Yeah. It's the
Awesome.
U.S. United States Extreme Championship. It's kind of international crew that it's setting up that. Yes, the top shooters all around the world for 3 days of shooting 30 different scenarios to test how efficiently you can move and actually achieve a good reasonable accuracy on the targets. And again, it's completely different when you're talking about the tactics. They are completely different from a real life tactics, but the mechanics of movement, the mechanics of shooting, the mechanics of changing the magazines, the mechanics of in the process how you reacquire targets in a very fast manner, they pretty much overlap, and that gives you the freedom. It's a complementary, there was a mantra back then: oh, competitive shooting will get me killed in the street. No, if you're able to differentiate the different tactics, competitive tactics versus the real life scenario tactics. But guess what? You have all the mechanics already preloaded in your subconscious mind. And that leaves way more room in your head, in your mind, in your memory, right? To take the proper tactical decisions and to apply the proper real life tactics if you know them well enough.
You know,
That's the excuse.
I think the big thing here that we have to understand is that when you go to learn from somebody, right? You go to an instructor to learn this stuff. If that instructor, let's say, is a competitive shooter, and he teaches you competition tactics as a technique for self-defense, right? Because a lot of them don't understand the differences. A lot of them don't understand that it's not just speed. It's not just getting that bullet out fast. There's a lot more to it, to saving your life. And a lot of people don't understand the differences between tactics and techniques in this realm. And so going to somebody that knows how to break that down for you and knows how to not only what applies to the real world and what doesn't, because I agree with you 100%. The mechanics are the same mechanics, right? You want to be the fastest, most accurate shooter there is, and the human body only moves in so many different ways. So whether it's us or not, go find somebody who understands the difference correctly. And sometimes, when you're a beginner and that kind of thing, you don't know, and you'll have to, learning from people who don't know what they're talking about there's a lot to be learned there too, right? So
Exactly, exactly. And we can really simplify that really quickly in order to be combat efficient with the firearm. First, something that will be very complementary is to be in a good physical shape, right? That will give you more agility, that will give you more strength, that will give you more stamina in general. It's always good to have that on your side. But when you focus like true efficiency, actually you have three elements that really matters. And not only that, you need to able to perform them in synergy together. First one, that's what we call the reactive marksmanship, and that's all these techniques, technical elements, ability to control the firearm under speed, replace the magazine really quickly, clear ammo malfunction and all that stuff. Just manipulation with the firearm, control of that firearm, and ability to achieve a high level of accuracy in a very limited time. That's all the technical skills, and that's what competition shooting is giving to you, the ability to move quickly and etc., etc. Then the second element, that's the tactical knowledge and ability to apply adequate tactics in an adequate situation, right? And the third component, it's a mindset and awareness. So imagine a three-legged stool. If one of these elements is shorter or you have a deficiencies over there, you try to sit on it, you'll fall on the ground, right? So you need to understand that it's not only one of those skills that you need to be really proficient on. You need all those, at least three elements, and you need to have to achieve an adequate level of proficiency in all those three elements at the same time. Does that make sense, Imre?
100%.
Oh,
I'm in
100%.
agreement. All the
So,
way.
Emery, what do you want to leave with us tonight, man?
Well, I'm glad to be home. I am saddened to come home and see that we still have a big mess on our hands here at home, and I hope we can get through that. So let's all stay American and love our country, and not let these morons take over. That's my thinking.
That's it. What about you, Rosin? What do you got to leave with us other than the fact that, let me pop this up on the screen one more time.
I want to say amen to Imre, what he said.
Excuse me, that should be a woman. Where's a woman?
No. Absolutely not.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having us. Unfortunately, Chris and Donnie had worse internet than we did.
Yeah.
But Russ, what do you got for us?
And I always enjoy listening to Rosin talk about his class. I'm looking forward to my wife going through it like I did. That way we can train together based off the knowledge that we have gotten from Rosin. We train together using the stuff that we learned from Tactical Rifleman and you and the rest of the crew over there. We try to keep that stuff in practice as much as we can. And folks, get your training. Can't stress it enough. And there's somebody scanned the link QR code. It popped off the screen already. But other than that, Rosin, thank you for being our guest. We'll hope to see you soon. And that's all I got for you tonight, folks. Be safe out there.
Thank you. And if some of you got